Hi people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. As the title suggests, today's video is part 3 to my favorite queer middle grade books, so I will link part 1 and 2 in the description box below if you haven't seen those videos already and you need some more recommendations. But anyway, the first book on this list is called The Ship We Built. First of all, there's a huge trigger warning on this book for sexual assault, so please be wary of that, although I will say that it's not super graphic and it's kind of more implied. But anyway, this book is a middle grade contemporary. Technically it's historical fiction because I think it's set in the 90s or the 80s. But anyway, it follows a young transgender boy as he discovers identity and community and friendship. This book is so good and it's absolutely so well done. First of all, the writing is so pretty and it's so lyrical, and I really enjoy that this book is set in letter format, if that makes any sense. Like, it was so well done and it was so wonderful. Second of all, the characters were so well developed and so distinct. The friendship in this story was so wholesome and it was absolutely so lovely and it was so necessary. You know what I mean? Third of all, the plot was so engaging and it was absolutely so intriguing. This book is so good, although it is quite hard-hitting at times, and it's so wonderful and it's so engaging and it's absolutely so underrated. It was one of my favorites of 2020 and I really enjoyed every single second of it. So anyway, with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Candidly, Cline. This book is a middle grade sapphic contemporary that follows a young aspiring singer/songwriter as she finds her voice, both like in a musical way but also like in a figurative way, if that makes any sense. But anyway, this book is literally so good and I love it so much. First of all, the plot is so engaging and it's absolutely so intriguing. Second of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct, and the story really felt really authentic. Third of all, the sapphic romance was so cute and it was so well developed and it was absolutely so wholesome. This book is so awesome. The queer representation was so authentic and it felt so well developed. This book was absolutely so good and it's so underrated and it deserves so much more hype. So with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend it because all of the elements weave together so well. The musical elements, the plot, the characters, the sapphic romance, like everything about it felt so authentic and it was so well developed. So anyway, with all of that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Lick. This book is a middle grade contemporary that follows a young, questioning, ace boy as he discovers his own identity, friendship, and community as he enters middle school for the first time. This book is so good, and it's absolutely so timely, and it's so important, and it's absolutely so necessary, because it really talks about how children are never too young to figure out their identity, which I think is a really important thing to talk about and to address, especially in today's time. You know what I mean? Anyway, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is so intriguing and it's so well done. The representation itself is so lovely and it's absolutely so wonderful. And this book is so engaging and it's so emotional and it's so good. This book is absolutely so amazing and it's so incredible, and it definitely amplifies my expectations and my excitement for the author's next book, which I believe comes out in early June, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called maybe Alice Austin Lives Here or something like that. But anyway, I'm so excited for it because this book was so good and it was one of my favorites last year because I was so emotionally connected and emotionally attached to everything that was happening. So anyway, with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called The Best Liars in Riverview. This book is a middle grade contemporary that follows a young non-binary person as they navigate their gender identity as they look for their missing best friend. This book is so awesome and it's so well done and it's absolutely so underrated. First of all, the plot is so engaging and it's absolutely so intriguing. Second of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. Third of all, the best friendship in this story is so wholesome and it's absolutely so lovely and it's so authentic. This book felt so realistic and so emotional and so wholesome to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was so good. This book is absolutely so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype. Like, why is nobody talking about this book except for me? It's so annoying. It feels like I'm screaming into a void of nothingness, and nobody's paying attention to me because nobody has read this book other than me. But anyway, that happens all the time because I talk about underrated books all the time, to a point that the word underrated has lost its meaning on my channel, but it's still underrated because nobody's talking about this book. And again, I'm screaming into a void. But anyway, with all that said, this book is so good. It's so awesome, and it's so well done because it's so authentic. So with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Ellen Outside the Lines. This book is a middle-aged contemporary that follows a young, non-binary, autistic, sapphic main character as they navigate a school trip, changing friendships, and new expanding horizons. This book is so awesome, and it's absolutely so well done. It was one of my most anticipated 2022 new releases because the author previously wrote Anna on the Edge, which was one of my favorite books of 2020, and this book definitely hit those expectations, thankfully. First of all, the autism representation hit home. If you didn't know, I'm autistic, so I love reading about characters who are like me, especially like for my younger, undiagnosed, autistic self. You know what I mean? Second of all, the queer representation was top-notch, and we love to see it. I can count on one hand the amount of books that I've read that have characters, main characters, that use multiple pronouns, and that says a lot considering the amount of books that I've read, as you all know. Third of all, the plot was so engaging, and it was absolutely so intriguing, and we love to see it. Third of all, or maybe fourth of all, I forgot what number I'm on. Anyway, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The friendships are so authentic and so lovely and so wholesome. This book deserves all of its hype and so much more. Again, this book is so underrated and it's so good, and I feel like I'm screaming into a void about it and nobody's listening to me because it's so good and it deserves so much more hype. But anyway, with all that said, this book is so awesome and I would highly recommend it. So, in conclusion, I hope this video serves as a reminder that nobody is too young to figure out their sexuality or their gender identity, and that the safety and the happiness and the value of queer young people should be prioritized over the discomfort of adults. So anyway, with that said, I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that these recommendations help diversify your bookshelf. And if you enjoy this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the watermelon emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!